Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Off-Farm Income Podcast, our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. Well, I get to continue interviewing National Star finalists today, and today is another great agribusiness finalist, another great entrepreneurship SAE from the FFA. I get to speak with Hadden Powell, who is coming to us from Bleckley County High School. Actually, he's at the University of Georgia now, studying landscape architecture, but originally from Bleckley County High School. He's going to talk to us all about building and developing both his landscape business as well as a floral arrangement business, so he could work both indoors and outdoors. And it's really interesting where he was getting the flowers and the different arrangements for his indoor business and how he leveraged one business into a second. Some valuable lessons here in this episode. Really hope you enjoy it. We'll get it started right now. Joining me today is Hadden Powell, and he is coming to us from the University of Georgia, where he is studying landscape architecture. He's a former chapter officer, and he is a nominee for the FFA's National Star Award in Agribusiness for 2019. Hadden, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
You bet. I'm looking forward to speaking with you. And you know, on this particular show, on the Off-Farm Income Podcast, I specialize in talking to students with entrepreneurship SAE, so this will be right up my alley.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm excited for that. Awesome.
All right. Well, what I normally like to do is just start off by asking you just a few questions about you, so our audience can get to know you a little bit. Would that be all right with you?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, how old are you now, Hadden?
I am currently 19 years old.
Okay. And when you are not at the University of Georgia, when you're at home, are you on a farm, are you in town, or something kind of in between?
I actually live on a farm in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
So we have cows and chickens and everything else you can imagine.
All right. And is that how your family makes their living, through the farming, or is it something they do on the side?
Actually, it's just a side thing, but we enjoy it.
You enjoy it. Well, that's good. That's an important part. Well, very cool. Well, so you say the middle of nowhere. So that's out in Bleckley County, right?
Yes, sir. So I actually got the chance to go to school in a different county.
Okay.
Kind of live in a rural area, so I went to school in Bleckley County, and then I lived in a neighboring county called Lawrence County.
Okay.
So it was about a 30-minute drive to school every day.
Oh, wow. Okay. So was there an option for you in Lawrence County, or why did you choose to go out of your county to school?
So there was an option, but the actual county, the school system within my hometown county, Lawrence County,
Mm-hmm.
it was actually a further drive away than the neighboring county. So the school systems are both great in both counties. My mother had a job in Bleckley County, so it was really more convenient for us to go there.
Okay.
So that's where we decided to go, and we stayed there all 12 years of school. So.
Okay. Very good. So you had the farm with the animals and a 30-minute commute to high school, and at some point you got involved with the FFA. How long have you been involved with the FFA?
So I've been with the FFA since the 8th grade, so what's that, 5 years or so?
Okay.
I'm getting old here. So yeah, I joined in the 8th grade, and lots of people in my class got involved with it. I guess it's just the rural kind of school system.
Mm-hmm.
And then what the FA offers to us kind of just goes with our lifestyle, and say it's kind of just a thing everybody did. And so I did it too. And so now I'm here.
That is awesome. So you got started in it. It's just kind of what everybody did, but you must have found a pathway that suited you while you were there.
I did. So within the FFA, we have CDEs, career development events.
Uh-huh.
And so I got involved in two. One was actually floral design, and then I did, of course, like tree ID and plant ID and that kind of stuff with that one. And then I did proficiency, which was based off of my SAE.
Okay.
So I got involved with both of those all 4 or 5 years since I've been there.
Very good. Very good. And while you were doing that, you decided to become an officer as well. What led you to being an officer?
So I did the officer my very second year
Okay.
of being with FFA. That was my ninth grade year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I just kind of felt led to do it. And so it was a good leadership opportunity, and I got to meet a lot of people, too, within it.
Okay, very good. Well, I know you had some FFA advisors that helped you along the way. I'd love to acknowledge those folks. Who was that for you?
Absolutely. I had two very good ones. So the first one was Bill Floyd, and I want to say he was there for about 35 years. He retired my senior year of high school.
Okay.
So he went out with a bang with me. And then the other one was Dr. Walt Parks, and he's actually still there. And both were very good, and one helped me in areas while the other one helped me in another area. So awesome opportunities with both of them.
Very good. Well, thank you for acknowledging them.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, Hadden, I got to do a quick commercial for one of my great sponsors. You want to help me out with that?
Sure.
All right. Well, you said that, on your family's farm you guys raise cattle, so I'm assuming every now and then you've got to run them into a squeeze chute or a corral or something.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I've got a great sponsor, and that is Powder River Livestock Handling Equipment. Of course, they developed for cattle ranchers out here in the West just about 80 years ago, developed working with these cattle that we have come in off the rangeland out here that barely ever see human beings and don't want to be anywhere around people. So they had to design tough and very good handling equipment that would reduce stress on those animals, reduce the possibility of injury, and keep the cattle handlers safe. And now they've got squeeze chutes, calf tables, runways, panels, sweep tubs, just anything you could think of to help you manage your large livestock. So everybody, please go over to powderriver.com, check out what they've got to offer, and let your local farm and ranch retailer know that you want them to carry Powder River because you heard about them right here on the Off Farm Income Podcast. All right, Hadden. Well, I just went. I barely let you help.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm assuming, though, that you've probably had some cows you've had to run in, and you're pretty thankful you've got good equipment to hold them with.
Yes, absolutely. It's very vital when you have cows having a good squeeze chute that works.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Spoken from somebody who truly knows. I appreciate that, Hadden. Well, let's talk about your supervised agricultural experience. So what have you been doing?
So my supervised agriculture experience is actually diversified horticulture. So my journey, I got involved with being outside and liking the outdoors with my grandmother.
Uh-huh.
I've always enjoyed being outside and designing kind of just really anything. And so within my SAE, I have my own business, and we specialize in design work with landscapes, interiors, and floral design. So with the landscapes and interiors, we do both residential and commercial stuff. And then we have floral designs. We do big events and weddings and stuff like that.
Okay, really interesting. So this was something that you started with Grandma, or Grandma was just kind of the inspiration behind this?
Oh, no. She definitely got me started with it. Definitely while I'm still pursuing landscape architecture. I enjoy being outside and designing, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
I still enjoy both the other things, interior and floral, but my heart is really with landscape. I don't know why.
It just wants what it wants, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So when did this all begin for you? When did you start this business?
So my business actually began in 2015.
Okay.
And so since then, it's been ups and downs, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of learning experiences, which is very helpful. And so, yeah.
And so there's kind of two distinct things here. I mean, one is working outside and designing landscapes. The other is working inside, right, with the floral arrangements?
Right. Yes, sir.
Okay. So how did you, I guess, how did you combine those two, or how did you start a business doing each of those? They sound like separate businesses, but you found a way to put them together.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So with the landscape and interior design, they kind of go hand in hand, same kind of principles and ideas. You're just using different materials and stuff like that. I don't do too much interior design stuff. I mean, I do have a good bit of it, but not too much.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely more landscape design work that. With a floral design, so a lot of where I got into that was with growing stuff in the landscape that you may could then turn around and use
Okay.
with floral arrangements and stuff like that. So,
All right. So you were being efficient. You were using the things you were growing and leveraging that into a whole nother business.
absolutely, absolutely.
Very good. Okay. Now, you are self-described from the middle of nowhere. So how in the world were you able to find customers that would pay you to do this?
So, I live about 30 minutes or so from any big town. I say 30 minutes from big town, meaning they have a Walmart or so.
Okay.
Definitely have to travel. So that's obviously when you have clients and stuff like that, you have to, let them know up front that you charge fees for travel fees.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise you're not going to make a profit off anything if you don't charge. So anywhere from 35 to an hour and a half is typically where my clients are at. So
Okay.
the best way I have grown is from where I live is word of mouth.
Okay.
So people knowing what you do and then going around and telling other people about what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that's the most I've grown in that area for sure. I do have a website and all that,
Mm-hmm.
a website, social media, that kind of stuff. They're good too, but word of mouth has been the best way to promote any business stuff.
Well, I like word of mouth. I think it gives a lot of credibility when other people will talk about what you're doing because they've got nothing to gain based on saying that you do a good job or recommending you. But there's one problem with word of mouth, and that is how do you get that first customer? I mean, you need that first customer to start building word of mouth, right?
Right, absolutely, yes, sir.
So how did you get that first customer?
So my first customer, I actually had quite a few at one time. I actually started by doing Christmas, decorating for Christmas, with friends, like relatives and friends that we knew or lived near us.
Okay.
And so in the past 4 or 5 years, it's really grown. Either people seeing what I've done and then want to know who's done it, or people posting pictures online and then somebody else seeing it and want to know who did it. So family and friends have really helped out in that area, I would say.
Okay. So you kind of got leads and found people through family and friends to start, and then you put it out there and let people start talking. That is great. What is the name of your business, Hadden?
My business is called Powells and Company. So depending on what kind of job we're doing is however many people I have to hire to help. So it can be anywhere from 3 to 7 or so.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. So you're actually employing people in your community to help out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, how big of jobs will you do when it comes to landscaping now? And what kind of equipment do you need to be able to pull those off?
So landscaping now, my landscape side is relatively not as large as maybe the floral design side, but it has definitely grown. I've seen over the years. Equipment-wise, it usually comes down to renting it rather than just purchasing it, because right now, being in school and stuff like that, I'm not as active with the landscape side due to not being home and, So right now, I've just been, renting equipment when I needed it, or if I knew somebody who has it, just borrowing it.
Okay. And then over time, what kind of awards through the FFA has this led you to?
So when I first started, like I stated earlier, I did the CD floral design, and so I did that my first year, and it didn't turn out well. I got last place, but I didn't lose hope.
Okay.
I turned around and did it again the next year.
Yeah.
And I won state with it.
Awesome.
So with that CD, there's not a national level, so state's really the highest you can get in that CD. And so then I stuck with proficiency. And so this year I actually won state with my proficiency. And then so I'll have the chance to compete at nationals with it too.
Very good.
Other awards, we have a local fair here, and a lot of times, a lot of the FFA chapters around will get together and do like a contest.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of tree ID and landscape ID and stuff like that. So awards throughout that kind of stuff, exhibiting booths and stuff in the fair. So
very cool. So you've had a lot of success along the way, and then along comes the nomination. You find out you're one of the 4 finalists for the National Star in agribusiness. How does that feel?
Well, I was kind of confused when I was told the information. I was like, me out of everybody? But I'm very grateful for the opportunity. I'm excited to.
That's fantastic. Well, congratulations to you. I think it's wonderful to get nominated, and I mean, to be there's well over 600,000 FFA students in the entire country. They've boiled it down to 16 star finalists, and you're one of those 16. That's pretty amazing.
I know. It's kind of crazy to think about, but
very cool. Well, now how has this the CDEs and the SAE and being involved in landscape design, floral design, and landscape architecture, I should say, how has this influenced what you're studying in college now?
So, like I said, I've always loved being outside, and so I hate tests. I hate sitting in the classroom and listening to somebody speak all day, because that's not how I learned.
Right.
So, I don't know. I've always liked dealing with design work and being outside, so I kind of put the two together and found landscape architecture.
Okay.
I also have an interest in architecture itself, so maybe going back and combining the two one day. That's a longer, 2 more years after these 4, so I don't know about that. But I really enjoy being outside, and so it kind of led me to landscape, and I kind of went around and looked at landscape companies in my area, just what they did, and then that's when I got involved with landscape in my business, and I really enjoyed it. Not too much on maybe installing and maintenance, but more the design work, drawing it off for contractors or so to implement. So that's kind of how I got to there. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's not, but I do enjoy it overall. So
let me ask you this question, and I'll ask some advice for some other students that are out there right now, but for students who are like you, who they learn better kind of kinesthetically, they're out there working with their hands and doing things like that, but they have to spend time in a classroom, and they have to get as much out of the classroom as they can as well. What advice do you have for them in terms of finding their way into a program like the FFA that can help them learn in the style that they're most accustomed to?
Yeah, so I definitely agree with everybody learns differently, and sometimes that's not really implemented in the classroom. So being with the FFA, they teach in so many different ways, or if you have an ag class within your high school or middle school, they teach in so many different ways for people like me to understand what's going on, whether it be hands-on or actually going out into the field and doing it yourself, or just watching somebody else do it, or learning through a book. There's so many different ways they teach, so I feel like it helps people like myself or whoever else it is out there who's not like the ordinary teaching, watching somebody, listening to somebody.
Right.
FFA definitely helps out there. Definitely go and even look and see, like, if you have an interest in something, go out and shadow somebody who does that occupation that you're maybe interested in before you even get to high school, I would say, because I definitely kind of knew what I wanted to do entering high school. So it kind of led me to the courses and elective stuff I took to kind of build up to my college, which would then later lead to the degree I wanted to get. So definitely go ahead and kind of look out for the degree you want to get, and then kind of build off of that going through high school and college.
Awesome. Great advice, Hadden. Hey, thank you so much for coming on and sharing this with us today, and best of luck to you at the National Convention.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks to Hadden Powell for coming on the Off-Farm Income Podcast today, and thank you to all of you for being here with us on our YouTube channel. Really appreciate it. As always, we would love to hear from you. If you'd ever like to contact me, I would love to hear from you. The email address is matt@offincome.com. The Facebook page is titled Off-Farm Income. And as always, enjoy your journey to the ultimate lifestyle business, agriculture.